Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Jay, and behind me is Marble Reef. So, my apologies for not being here for the last week and a half, but my mom was in town, I had my son's birthday, and I was busy with some other personal stuff for the business, so I've been just a little bit busy, but I'm back into it, and I'm ready to go. And I've got a couple interesting things that have happened with the tank over the last week and a half, so maybe it's good that I took a little bit of a break from that. But all the corals and stuff are doing fine, but we did go through a little bit of just a couple little issues here and there that I've had with the tank. So I'm interested, and I'll be interested to get into it a little bit more with everybody later on this week in a different video. So I'll have an update on that and the Aptasia and all that. But for today, I want to talk about pH probe calibration. I had an issue come up with me, and then I figured it out, and I was extremely happy, and I wanted to share it with everybody like 4 or 5 days ago, but I just didn't get an opportunity to. So today is the time. Now, some of this stuff, seasoned reefers will probably be laughing at me a little bit, but people that are just getting into using different testing to watch these numbers, or using any kind of pH monitor or probes, this video is for you if you're not quite sure why your instrument isn't working the way that it should be working. So first off, a very quick background. I had the Apex, my probe wasn't working. It was, at least I thought it wasn't working. It was reading in the mid sevens and would never go above 8. Stressed me out, so I bought the CO2 scrubber off brstv.com, or bulk reef supply, and I bought the media for that, and I've been running that, and then the probe still won't. It might read 8 from time to time, but that was about it. And I'm wondering what is going on with this thing. I went to all kinds of reef stores, and their suggestion is, well, pull air from outside. I have been pulling air from outside. I have a line that goes directly from my protein skimmer out my window. So I have actually been doing that from the very start. Okay, so I'm thinking it's the air quality in Arizona. When I was in Oregon, it always, any pH testing that I did, and I didn't have an Apex then, I used the regular, like, old school ones for pools or whatever, always read in the 8s. 8.0 to 8 point, maybe even up to 8.4. So I'm thinking it's the air quality, because Oregon has very good air quality. Well, I order pinpoint test calibration kit, and it has 10 packets, 5 at 7 and 5 at 10. So when you're calibrating, at least on the Apex, you hit manual calibration. It tells you to put it in 7, you put it until the number stabilizes. Then you put it in 10, you do it until that number stabilizes, and then you're good to go. I put the pH probe in the water, same thing. I'm having the same numbers. I'm like, what is going on with this thing, right? So I kind of dealt with it. I bought the pH test kit from Hannah. I'm thinking their products are so accurate, so it's good to have either way as a backup. So I test, and my Apex is reading 7.9, and the Hannah is reading 8.2. So I'm like, what is going on here? But, and on the good side of it, I knew that I'm running a good pH. Even if I took that number and I broke it in half, I'm running like an 8.1. So I'm happy that my pH is right, but I'm wondering why my pH calibration probe that, I paid a lot of money for this Neptune system, isn't reading the right number. So I end up getting the Hannah test kits, and it's the same thing. I think it was $15 on Marine Depot is where I got this one from. Same thing, you get 5 packets at 10.01 and 5 at 7.01. But the cool part about these packets, and they obviously do it for people like me or maybe people like you that don't know this yet, is they write what temperature the solution has to be at in order to hit the number listed on the front of the packet. Now I live in Arizona. It's hot, real hot, and typically I'm not running my house at 77 degrees, exactly 77. When it's cooler outside, I let the house stay cool, so I'll maybe be at 74, 73 even. And in the summertime, when I have the air on, so I'm not paying $1,000 a month in electric bills, I might run it at 80. So I'm never hitting 77 degrees, ever. And most likely you're not either, unless you live in a really nice area that runs 77 degrees, or you like your house at 77 degrees. So what I did was, I put this packet in some cool water because it was running a little bit warm until the so I cut off the top a little bit on both the 7 and the 10. I put it in a cup just like halfway up so none of the water got into the solution with cool water. And I had a temperature probe inside one of these packets. And as soon as the solution hit 77, I did my test, and now my pH probes work perfect. So it wasn't a company error, it was a user error, which is usually what the problem is. It's a user error. Now I should have remembered that it's the same thing with salinity. So if you're not familiar with that, you don't want to have a mixing station for water changes and then check the salinity if your water's at like 65 before you heat it up, or if it runs hot and you have a chiller on it, which I don't think a lot of people do, but you're not going to test your salinity when your water is not at the right temperature. You want to test your salinity when it's at your tank's temperature. And I learned that a long time ago watching Milev's Reef, which is a great channel if you haven't watched it. And Mark's a good guy, and if you message him with a question, he usually has an answer. And he's like extremely busy. But I never thought of it. So just make sure that if you're going to calibrate your pH stuff, any of your pH probes, whether it's through a Hanna or it's through just one that you buy off Amazon that you put in a pool or test your drinking water with, make sure that when you're using those calibration packets, you look up what the temperature needs to be in order for that fluid to hit that specific number. And you should be good. So I thought it was interesting. I wanted to let everybody know about that because it was such a frustrating thing for like the last year or so since I've had that thing. And I'm happy I found out that my tank is running just fine. Really, I don't even need my CO2 scrubber media. I just use it anyways, mainly just to filter out all the dust that I get from here in Arizona knocking around. They're doing construction across the street, and so there's so much dust in the air right now. So I'm kind of using it as a filtration. But anyways, thanks for joining me today. I'm looking forward to talking about what's going on with my tank behind me. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye.